Is it really?
The flight, they couldn't guarantee she missed a connecting flight, and then they couldn't get her on anything until late tomorrow afternoon out of Phoenix. So she might as well stay there, and she got a 2 o'clock flight out of Vegas tomorrow afternoon.
You gotta make your breakfast.
Yeah, I gotta go to work. My laundry, everything. You know what though?
Thank you.
I want it. It's not cheap to go, huh? Yeah.
At this time, call to order the City of Joliet Council meeting for June 19th, 2018. The Honorable Mayor Robert Oderkirk presiding. I need to know who's
No, not yet.
see yours is on too. Can I see yours real quick? Sorry, folks, technical difficulty on some of these iPads.
I did get that.
And then tonight we'll have an invitation by Pastor Jacob Garcia of the Crossroads Christian Church at 2312 Essington Road. Pastor, good to see you. After the invocation and prayer, you will lead us in the pledge, Pastor.
Please stand. Before I pray, I want to ask that we have a moment of silence for Joe Adler, a community leader who recently passed away. He also helped start Habitat for Humanity, dearly loved, and he will be missed. Let's have a moment of silence. And let's say a word of prayer. God, thank you on behalf of all who are able to be here today. Thank you for all of the leaders and the members of the community that are here today. We are blessed that we get to be a part of this great city and do work that blesses so many in our community. And just as your word says, may our leaders act justly, may they love mercy, and may they walk humbly. We ask your blessings on this meeting. For our mayor and for all of our city officials, please give them wisdom to lead, give them a hunger for justice and the ability to serve in harmony, even as they have differing opinions on how to lead our city. I pray a blessing on the agenda set before us for the city of Joliet and for their leadership as they bless those who live and work here. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Oderkirk.
Here.
Councilman Dickinson.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Here.
Councilman Turk.
Here.
First under mayor is appointments. None this evening. Before we move on to approval of the agenda, I believe the city manager and corporation counsel would like to speak on 2 items this evening.
Mayor and council, I'm asking that we postpone the contract with CMT for the water supply plant till July 2nd. We were unable and had to cancel the environmental commission meeting this afternoon. We're trying to reschedule that in the next week or two. And so we're still in the process of working through that. And the other thing I just mentioned is we're also working on the role for the environmental commission to be the chief steering committee to work with the consultant and to help us as we talk about public engagement and working with the public throughout this process. So those are some things we're clarifying with the consultant and the environmental commission. So we'll bring that back to you on July 2nd.
Thank you.
And Mayor, with respect to Council Memo 321-18, regulations on the feeding of wild animals and waterfowl. Since the publication of the agenda last week, some of you received a number of pointed questions and comments, and I started putting together a response to the emails, but then realized as written, the proposed ordinance does in fact prohibit the incidental, sporadic, or infrequent feeding of wild animals and waterfowl, such as, you know, a piece of bread to a duck, you know, that would fall under the ordinance. So then I started crafting some amendments to it, but then I thought, you know what, rather than pass up a change to you on the dais, you know, 4 hours before the vote, I thought the best thing was to do to pull it back and take a second look at it.
Sounds good, thank you.
Next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written with the following changes? Remove Council Memo 321-18, which is the ordinance adding Chapter 20, Conditions Detrimental to Health, Public Nuisance, Article 1, Nuisances, Division 3, Feeding of Wild Animals and Waterfowl, Regulations on the Feeding of Wild Animals and Waterfowl, and vote separately to table Council Memo 337-18, authorization to approve a professional services agreement in the amount of $278,700 to Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley for the Alternative Water Source Study Phase 1.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve the agenda as written as the aforementioned changes. Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hugg.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Next is citizens to be heard on agenda items. First is Mary Larson.
Hi, my name is Mary Larson, and I live at 617 North William. And I see a lot of things going on over there that I'm really concerned about. Right now, they're letting the people live there as a multi-family home with 8 people. I never see 8 people there. I'm out watering my flowers in the morning at 5 o'clock. I see a van pull in the back, and I see 9 people with the driver. And then I'm out there for a while, and then another one comes out, and then another guy comes out. And they all go to the same floor. And then in the morning, they pick them up, I don't know what time. So I don't know how many people are in the house. I see the upstairs lit up, the attic with the windows open, the second floor, the first floor, in the basement. And they come and go at all different times. And I'm just concerned. I live next door to it. And I don't know who the people are. There's different faces all the time. They're not the same people. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. That's what I got to say.
Thank you.
I apologize if I'm not reading the last name. Lori Gilmore? That's okay, thank you.
My name is Lori Gilmore, and I live at 909 Mason, so about half a block from 613 William. And I'm coming before you to oppose the variance that is being requested for the building to operate as a 2-unit. First of all, when I first saw the petition, it seems like the crux of the argument is when we bought the building, we believed it to be a 2-unit, so we'd like to continue operating it as a 2-unit. I'm actually a licensed real estate broker. I've been practicing in Joliet for the last 12 years. And the idea that you're going to believe all of the information in the MLS is one that's foolhardy, because it says right on there that buyers should actually check the accuracy of the MLS. And fortunately, the city of Joliet makes it dead simple to verify zoning on a building. City staff is super helpful. I prefer to have things in writing, so I typically file a Freedom of Information request. City responds very quickly, and they get you the information you're looking for on city letterhead. So the idea that nobody during the transaction chose to spend 5 minutes to fill out a Freedom of Information request online to verify zoning, to me is suspect at best and foolhardy at worst. Secondly, I know it was noted in the city staff memo that the current owners of 613 William did attempt to sell the building. And I actually had provided some listings that showed the various listing times and so on and so forth. They did list it as a single family home at that point, and it looks like they did have multiple contracts on it. None of those contracts closed. I can't speak to what happened in those various transactions, but because buyers were making offers on this property, it seems there actually is a market for it as a single family home. Now, I know that when we were at the zoning board, Mr. Salerno did explain a little bit about those transactions, mentioned buyers not having jobs and buyers not able to get financing and radon, and it sounds like there were inspection issues. But I guess in my opinion, that seems like maybe poorly managed transactions or poorly vetted buyers rather than a lack of market demand for this particular home as a single family. The other interesting thing that I found was that Mr. Salerno's been very open about purchasing this building in order to house his seasonal migrant laborers. He runs a carnival operation and needs a place for his workers to stay when they're in the country. I did a search through the Department of Labor website, and you can find information about various certificates that business owners have to bring foreign labor into the country. And Mr. Salerno, or his company, All Around Amusement, I believe, does have a valid certificate to bring people into the country from April 1st through November 5th. So I guess my question becomes, after November 5th, if this is truly operating as a 2-unit, who's living in the building? How is it being used? Is it going to be used for another purpose? And that certificate allows 30 workers to be in the country. So, to Ms. Larson's point, which 30 workers, if he's saying there are only 8 that are living there, are they the same 8? Are they different 8? It's one of those things that I think the neighbors who live closer have been able to detail some of the comings and goings, but I guess that's a question that I had. The other thing I noticed was that when the final listing was canceled, it was canceled on March 27th, which happened to be 3 days before those certificates allowing foreign labor into the country were allowed. So, you know what, I think that there was, either oversight in purchasing, but it seems to me that there was never the intention to truly operate this building as a 2-unit, as you and I might consider a 2-unit, where we're using it for investment, we screen, we do background checks, and we check employment, and we hope that those people become part of the fabric of the neighborhood, that we have families or maybe students living there. But instead, I think it's really obvious that it's being used for more of a barracks that would support a business rather than a true 2-unit. So I would ask that you deny the variance.
Thank you.
Dave Clinton.
Hi, my name is Dave Clinton, and I live at 355 North Rainer. I don't have any data or facts. This is purely an emotional argument. I've lived in my house for 43 years. I'm empathetic to people who live in the cathedral area. The Cathedral Area Preservation Organization is CAPA, and its preservation is the issue of preserving the integrity of the neighborhood. And one of the things that the preservation group has attempted to do is zone for single-family dwellings. Now, that doesn't mean there's only single-family dwellings in the cathedral area, but I empathize with the people who are having to deal with a situation that undermines the integrity, and I think the integrity is the word. It undermines the integrity of the area, and that's the argument. So I'd say that in the past, I've had some issues that I've talked to various councilmen about and councilwomen about, and they've been very empathetic to those issues, same type issues. So I hope you'd offer your consideration and think about the integrity of the area, and vote to support the people who would like to deny this. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Linda Scubin.
Hello, my name is Linda Scubin. I live at 614 Cowles Avenue, which is adjacent to 613 William Street. And I would like to say that I am opposed to the rezoning of this as a multi-unit dwelling. I would encourage you all to take the zoning board's opinion. Everyone on the zoning board voted against changing the zoning on this property for reasons that you've already heard from the other people who spoke before me. And I too have seen instances of overcrowding, more than 8 people coming out of the building myself. And I too am concerned that it is a barracks for workers. And these are not people who are integrating into our neighborhood. I believe they're there on a short-term basis. I can't even tell you that it's the same people all the time, but I know there's a lot of people living there. So I would like to just express my opinion that I'm against this, and I'm hoping it will come to conclusion this evening, because we've been dealing with this, we've been living by it for about the past 6 months. We see people coming and going, and we've been dealing with coming to the meetings and going to the zoning board to express our opinion since May 17th. So I really hope it comes to a resolution today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Baltz.
Hello, Mike Baltz. I live at 619 North William Street, and I too would like to ask that the zoning stay single family and be enforced. I have a 12-year-old daughter that we are raising in the house, and I can't let her walk to the bus or ride her bike because of these concerns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob Nachtrieb.
These folks took most of what I was going to say, but I can add one thing that has not been said, and that is that we have an ordinance in Joliet passed in 1975 that specifically for the cathedral area that requires that any building built as a single-family building be returned to that upon its sale. That ordinance is still good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Deborah Smith.
Hi, I'm Deborah Smith. I reside at Cowles Avenue, and pretty adjacent to the building in question. I am a licensed real estate agent as well as Lori, and I've lived in the neighborhood for about 17 years, and I may replicate some of the things that the others have said just because I came a little prepared so I wouldn't repeat myself or carry on, but the property was noticed because of the activity that neighbors observed 6 months ago. The issue is that it's being utilized as more of a hotel or a business as opposed to even a traditional 2-unit. The prior unit, the prior owner had resided there and had rented it. There was never an issue. It appears that the current owners have been and want to continue to conduct their seasonal hotel business as in an R2 residential neighborhood. It would appear that the intent was always to use this property as a hotel boarding house with the disguise of it being a 2-unit rental property. I'm asking that the variance also be denied. We take pride in our neighborhood and our homes. As Mike Bald said, we enjoy living in the residential neighborhood where the children can play on the sidewalks, where we can walk our dogs throughout the whole cathedral area. So it's a concern of many of the neighborhood. And we did know that the current owner's attorney had mentioned of financial loss and possibly, having to resell it. He did pay a very good cash price for this. As Lori said, the market is really good right now. There's no reason why he can't try to resell it and still break even as it's zoned. We feel like in every purchase, you do have the due diligence. No matter what the MLS says, as Lori said, as an owner, as an investor, you have that due diligence. And if your attorney or your realtor or your own common sense doesn't tell you to go to zoning and make sure that what you're purchasing is what you're purchasing, then your intent seems to be a little skeptical. So I thank you for your time and hope that you consider denying the variance for 613 North Williams.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on an agenda item?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is John Urban. I'm the attorney for the applicant. Beside me is Juanita Salerno and also Robert Salerno. Since the 1950s, this property has been a 2-unit. So the neighbors haven't been living with this for only 6 months. It's been actually over 60 years. This property has 2 water meters, city water meters that's been in place. And we went to Kappa. We were at Kappa a week ago yesterday. We went there to address their concerns, see if we can come up with a resolution of this. And we were there for about an hour. After we left, the position was that Mr. Bob Nackery of Kappa, myself, and city staff were going to try to get together to ensure that whatever happens is not going to be looked upon as a bad precedent for the cathedral area. We were looking for some solution so that it could not be used against the cathedral area in terms of other owners. So that's what we tried to do. A week ago today, we learned that they wanted to go with their policy, which was how the property was originally built. That's how they wanted to handle it. So despite that, we would still like the opportunity to meet with city staff to see what we can do to resolve this so that it still does not act as a bad precedent for Kappa. If we were to go to court, we believe that we would prevail. And if that happens, it's a 2-unit. And I don't think that would be a good precedent for the people that are here that have expressed their concerns. So we would like to have this tabled to give us an opportunity to meet with city staff to try to resolve this in such a way that perhaps in the future this is no longer just a 2-unit. You know, perhaps it can be an owner-occupied 2-unit. So 1 unit can be leased and the other would be an owner-occupied. If we go to court and we prevail, then it's a 2-unit. So these people that are living here, they are well vetted. It's better than a landlord-tenant relationship because the tenants that are at this property go through several governmental bodies to be checked to make sure they don't even have an unpaid traffic ticket. If they do, they're not allowed. So we don't see that there's any danger to the community at all. And what we'd like to do is, you know, table it so we can come up with a solution to try to ensure that this is a positive precedent. And I believe that we can work something out. So that's our position. And I believe that the Salernos would probably say that they only have 8 individuals there. And the van stays there, it does not come and go. And so, you know, some of these people have been employees of the Salernos for many years. Matter of fact, most of them are employees for 15 years or so. So we believe that, first of all, we'd like to have this continued, I guess it's 13 days, because I think your next meeting is on a Monday night. But that's our request. And if we're able to do that, we're still looking out for Kappa to try to come up with a solution so it's not as, you know, a precedent against them, whereas it may be if we do prevail in court. So that's what I have to say. I don't know if you have anything to say.
Yes, several of the employees have been coming. It is true we have 30 that come each year. More than half of them have been coming for the past 4 years. They request that they go in the house. We only put 8 individuals in there. The van does not come and go. The van stays there overnight. So if we're out at 5 o'clock in the morning, we'll see the van is already there. They leave to go to work, they come back. They have one day, they go shopping, perhaps that's the day, they see them coming and going. They go to do their laundry, they come back, bring their laundry, they do their shopping, they bring that back. I don't know in which order they do that. Speaking of the owner, prior owner lived there. The prior owner never lived there. His father lived there, and he's been gone for quite a while. The realtor was a family member, so that therefore we took that to be true. I've seen water bills and utility bills that have still come in the mail to those people. That it was. There's different names on there. It was definitely not owner occupied. Our tax bill states that it's an apartment house. We're being taxed as an apartment house. I would think that the city of Joliet knowingly put into water meters, defines it, that you knew it was being used as a 2-unit. Before we bought this property, we did speak to the neighbors, one of whom spoke up. We told her exactly what we were doing with the property. The other 2 neighbors that we've talked to were not able to make it today, but they are not opposed to it. One is working and the other gentleman, we don't know his reasoning. But we have not had any opposition from them. And when we brought it prior to buying and mentioned what we were using the property for, nobody ever said, no, we don't feel comfortable. In fact, the house next to us to the north, I believe it is also zoned a 2-unit. So, that's what I was told by the city.
Yeah, can you address the council, please?
That's what I was told by the city when I called to apply for the zoning. They told me, well, it shouldn't be a problem because their house right next door is listed as a 2-unit, or zoned as a 2-unit, I should say. We did attempt to sell the house after we had opposition. It didn't go through. You know, we've made repairs to the house, the radon we've done. The gentleman we bought it from did not want to do it. We did the radon. We've made other repairs to the plumbing in the house. We've done upgrades to the brick and other things. We did have a contract to spend $40,000 on windows and doors, not including the flooring that we were going to put into the house. That was over $70,000. So it wasn't like we weren't going to put money into the house. That's really all I have to say. I would really like you to consider keeping it a 2-unit, as it has been for the last 50 years.
Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
I'd just like to have one final thing to say. Like I said, I would really appreciate if you consider it being a 2-unit. What I did is when we met with our attorney, a couple of attorneys, and my wife, Whit Kappa, we offered several different things that night of the meeting. I offered that if they'd like to keep it the way it was. They said no. I said, how about if we turn around and give it a deed restriction? And I'm all for giving a deed restriction where the city of Joliet will be in control, that owner occupied would have to live there before they could buy it. And then they said, well, we don't know if we want that. I said, I'm going to do one better yet. Leave it the way it sits, excuse me, right now, the way it stands. I will sell it because, and then I'll get anybody in there that's a 2-family, and I'll even put the deed restriction on there from the city if you'd like to go along with it, saying that the owner who buys it, the purchaser that has to buy it has to live there. Because I did try to sell it as a 1-family. It didn't sell. It didn't sell. It went from 170 and we were offered 110 from a 2-family down to 1-family. So that's a $60,000 hit going backwards as a 1-family. If you allow it to stay the way it is, I guarantee you to move everybody out of the house tomorrow. And he said about 30 employees. I did buy a hotel, so I got other people in the motel. That's the reason why it's filled up. But I can buy more property and move them out if you'd be so gracious as not to leave it stand the way it is, with the understanding that we can put a deed restriction on it, stating that the property that has been used for over 50 years with separate gas, separate lights, separate garages on the property, leave it stand the way it is, and then I'll make the deed restriction in behalf of the city's favor. I'm not here to hurt the city, and I don't want to get beat up no more. I just want to work with it. And why would anybody want to buy a piece of property knowing that it's going to be, declassified? We did call the city. They said, the real estate people said, well, why didn't they do their due diligence? Our real estate agent did call the city. I called the city. And the city says, oh yes, it's a two flat. But then since all of this here came up, they've had a reconsideration. Well, you can't tell me one day it is and one day it isn't. It is it or it is, or does it or it isn't. I want to say, let me do whatever it takes to leave it stand the way it is. I'm willing to put deed restrictions on it. I'm willing to move everybody out of the house, and then this way I can sell it ASAP. If not, I'll be forced to put a single family residence in there, and we'll put the families in there that we have to put in there. All right? I just want to cooperate with the city and do whatever it takes. I'm not here to fight you. I'm not here to argue with you. I just say, let it stand the way it is. Put the deed restrictions in. Let the city govern that way it's supposed to be, like Kappa says that they want. Not the way Kappa says, let's have a meeting, and then we agree to the meeting, and then after they say, we'll table it, and then after we leave, then they say, oh, we decided we don't want to meet with the attorney, after they're the ones that offer to set up a meeting with the attorneys. What's good for a goose should be good for a gander. I mean, I'll work with you guys. I'll work with Kappa. Tell me what I got to do, but don't tell me we're going to have a meeting and then cancel it after we leave. I offered to bring my Hispanics that work for me down to the Kappa meeting. I was told not to bring them. For what reason was I told not to bring them? I don't know. I just like to know from Kappa, is this a racial thing now against my employees or me?
Please.
It's not a please. It is what it is. I have to ask. Please side with us, and I guarantee you I can move the people out tomorrow. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? I'm going next.
I would just like to address the issue of Mr. Salerno saying to approve this with conditions and so on and so forth. I want you to know that I really question his credibility. I have a video in my hand right now of 9 people coming out of one of the 2 units. And he just got finished saying that there's no more than 8 living in the whole building. The other thing I'd like to challenge is when he said that he talked to one of the neighbors and that said we had no issue with this. Since he brought it up, do I have the right to ask him who that was? He said she's here today.
No, you spoke to the council. We're not going to argue. You made your comments. Please make them then.
I just question his credibility, and I hope you will keep that in mind when you're making your decision.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shafali Baltz, and I just have a couple of comments to make regarding some of the statements made here. First, just because the unit is used as a 2-unit illegally or improperly in the past doesn't mean that it should be rezoned that way at this point. Second, I was never approached by anyone that the Salernos indicated. They indicated they approached several people. I live 2 doors down. I was never approached. Third, they talk about threatening a precedent against Kappa. Precedents are based on specific factual situations, and it's unlikely that a precedent would affect that many situations given what's going on here. And I would just ask that the council not table this and put it to a vote today.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Hugo Gamino. I live at 525 North William, which is just on the other block of this property. And I am Hispanic and also a member of Kappa, so Mr. Salerno's statement is just dumb, in my opinion. But the main reason why I'm here is I've never seen him in the neighborhood. For him to say that he's always there or he's there, I've never seen him. And I'm there in the mornings, in the evenings, sometimes in the afternoons. I get off work early, never see him any of there. So there's already a nuisance property on that same block, not a block over, 2 blocks over, on the same block. We don't need another one. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Good evening, Eagle. This is Kathy Garthis, 23656 South Federal Road. And a thing with this ordinance on the feeding of wild animals, I have one thing to say. All your disindustrialization like out by us, I mean, the question is what is bringing the animals to the people's properties? You know, Out by us, it's been all industrialized, and we have more animals coming to our home than we ever had before, and we ain't even feeding these things. So you have to put in perspective what is causing all these animals to come to people's houses. Destruction of their habitats. You know, we used to have lots of woods out by us, and of course it's all been turned to concrete and warehouses. And so, like I said, we have all these animals coming to our place, more than we ever had before. And yes, they are a nuisance, whether you feed them or you don't feed them. They are still gonna get into your garbage, they are still gonna tear your things up, because we are having that problem right now with the raccoons, squirrels, etc., and skunks and all this stuff, etc. So you guys need to also take in consideration here is why you guys keep taking the poor wild animals' habitats away from them. I think that needs to be addressed too in as far as this goes. Because, I mean, people don't have to feed the animals, they are still coming to your places now because they've lost their own homes. That is why they are coming to people's residence.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on an agenda item? Seeing none, next is Mayor Pro Tem. It's recommended Councilman Morris serve as Mayor Pro Tem for the term of July 1st, 2018 through September 30th, 2018.
So moved.
Second. You want to withdraw?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
You gonna take the next 3 months off?
Yeah.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council committee reports, Economic Development Committee report.
Economic Development Committee, we had one item. It was in finalizing, and I'm flying by the seat of my pants here because my iPad's not working. What was the address there, Steve? With Mike's?
It is 22 East Clinton. It's the Louis Joliet Apartments.
Right, the Louis Joliet Apartments, for those who are familiar. It's a matter of over time, over the next 15 years, completely converting these to more upscale. We're talking solid wood floors and a lot of details like that. So all we did at that meeting was finalize. We had asked him to go do some due diligence on some details and finalize the incentive package so that he could do all 61 units, right? 60, I'm doing good, Steve.
Great.
61 units, 12 are currently market rate, and the other ones are under certain programs, and they'll ultimately all be at market rate. And so we did, if I didn't question him, he did what he asked him to do, and as a committee, we unanimously thought it was, you know, a good time to recommend finalization of the incentive package. Just a historical footnote, that's the same place that President John F. Kennedy spent a night. Back in 61 or 60. I don't think anybody knows for sure. Where's your historical buffs when you need them? Where's Mary Beth? Gannon. So that's the only thing we had on our agenda that night. And so it made for a meeting about as short as my presentation, and I'm done here, Mayor.
Thank you.
Finance Committee report.
Here on the Finance Committee, comprised of Councilman Girl and Councilman Mudrin, met this evening at 5:30 to discuss several items. We looked over and approved the 2017 annual Treasurer's Report. It'll be on our website tomorrow, showing all revenues and expenditures. Each month, we're taking parts of the budget and discussing the revenues. This month, we looked at the interest income. Did a 12-year analysis. The staff provided us with a 12-year analysis. Back in 2008, on our investments, we earned interest of $2.2 million. And back in 2008, it hit a low in 2015 of $7,500. This year so far, it's about $145,000. So interest rates are coming back up, and we should be, if it continues the trend, we should be over $300,000 in interest this year, which is quite a bit more than last year. We reviewed the public safeties, police and fire salaries and overtime. Went over them with both police chiefs, police and fire chief was there. They provided us with a report. We ask that a copy of the report be given to you, Mayor, and the rest of the council. And after the June financials are complete, staff will give a full report to the full council on where we are with overtime. We also reviewed the Riverwalk financials for April of 2018. Bob Notry was here and addressed some views on that, and also Ken Mihalich will be here at the next meeting to discuss the financials in some detail. We also reviewed the monthly financial report, personnel summary, travel expense report, invoices paid, found them all to be in order and recommend their approval.
Thank you.
Land Use and Legislative Committee report.
Yes, the Land Use Committee met here in the council chamber Wednesday, June 6th. The committee, myself, along with Councilman Dixon and Councilwoman Quillen. We had several agenda items as well. I'm going to ask Marty to jump in here a little later on in my report. Staff, I guess, has been getting some contact from companies that want to clean debris landfill within the city limits of Joliet, and I believe we do already have one staff that let us know about that. So it is one already in the city of Joliet, but they've been getting some contact from other landfills. So they brought a representative from the Will County that regulates these landfills. So any additional landfills and the one that we already have now is regulated by Will County in terms of monitoring that they bring in clean debris in the landfill. So there was discussion over what that would comprise of. Also, the committee, I'm kind of go back up if you look at the agenda if you want to follow me. Electrified fence. We've had businesses here in Joliet that is requesting electrified fence for security purposes here. So staff was instructed by the committee to more information from the staff on the electrified fence before we make any type of recommendation. Thank you. Recommendation to the full council. So the representative from the electrified fence was here to give us some information. So again, this committee asked staff to go back and get more information before we make that recommendation. There was also we were trying to work with staff and with Marty on a gun shop. We had a gun shop that opened up here in Joliet, so we also asked staff that we place a moratorium on that until staff can kind of construct the ordinance on gun shops. So that will be something that will be coming back to the committee and then to the full council with some type of recommendation. Marty, you might can take it from there because the rest of them are some ordinance, and sure. Marty would, we talked about some of these, well, most of them yesterday.
We did. So the prohibition of feeding of wild animals, that came up. It was brought to the committee's attention that it was feeding animals. We're not talking about handfuls, we're talking about buckets of feed and hundreds of animals and dozens of skunks. But that one we're going to take a second look at before we bring it back before the full council. The next one is the abandoned gas station, and I think I mentioned it yesterday. This gives another toolbox, another tool in the toolbox for the staff to address abandoned gas stations. The parking one we discussed as well. Liquor code, there's a very good summary of the changes, so if you have any specifics on the changes, Chris is also here. Video gaming distributor's fee and the distributor fee itself, those are $100 per month per machine fees towards the distributors. I think that about sums it up. It was a very long meeting.
But all the ordinances were passed with unanimous votes from the committee. I don't know if there's anything else down there.
We're good.
Good.
It was a long meeting.
Thank you.
Public Service Committee report.
Before I go into the Public Service Committee report, which will be short, I want to thank Councilman Girl for letting me hijack his iPad. So now I can see him a little bit smoother than I did when I presented the Economic Development Committee report, which was accurate. So I want to apologize to my fellow committee members for not mentioning them. We met on June 14th as an Economic Development Committee. I was not there alone. I was there with Councilman Mudrin and Councilman Morris. And also in attendance was Steve Jones and his new specialist, economic specialist, Derek Conley. That's right. So, sorry folks, guys, I just felt so off balance without my iPad, you know what I mean? And now the Public Service Committee met today at 4 p.m. here at City Hall. In attendance was myself, Councilwoman Gavin, and Councilman Dickinson, as well as a gaggle of different department heads and employees that I won't go on and list. We had just a few items on there. One item is, and it's very proactive, has to do with the Washington Street Bridge over Hickory Creek. We did recommend for approval $297,000, roughly $500 contract on extending that bridge, which is about 38 years old, and doing the necessary repairs now, as opposed to letting it continue to decay and in the next 10 years having to come back at 1.8 million and completely replace it. So we'll give kudos to the Public Works Department for staying ahead of that. We've all heard about the bridges around the state and country. So we did approve that and the financing for it. We did take an item off, which was explained at the beginning meeting by David Hales, by our city manager. The same item for the alternate water source that was taken off of the council meeting was taken off of our committee meeting. So we did not discuss that at all. Then we had a smaller $30,000 contract, basically for a specialized company that takes care of our supervisory control and data acquisition system, electronic system for our public utilities department. And other than that, we bought a couple of small parcels of land out of necessity with the east side expansion of the water treatment. And we're almost done, I think, completely, Allison, with having to buy anything else, correct? And one parcel was 4,600, the other was 5,500. And then those going out to Louis Joliet Mall. If you stop and get gas at the Circle K, you'll be able to get a car wash now. We did recommend approval for their special use for drive-through because they are building a car wash to augment the services as a gas station. And that's pretty much all we had on our agenda.
I show no other reports. Under consent agenda, approval of the minutes. It's recommended the minutes of the pre-council meeting held on June 4th and the minutes of the council meeting held on June 5th, 2018 stand approved as recorded. Invoices paid report. It's recommended this report be received and placed on file. Notice of combined council meeting Monday, July 2nd, 2018 at 5:30 p.m. Billy Lee Mocker, Bicentennial Park, 201 West Jefferson Street in Joliet. Council Memo 313-18, 2017 Annual Treasurer's Report. It's recommended this report be received and placed on file. And Council Memo 314-18, Position Vacancies. It's recommended the city manager be authorized to fill 1 police patrol officer position, 2 police sergeant positions, and 1 equipment operator 2 position in the water department, and any resulting subsequent vacancies. Is there a motion to approve said consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hugg.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under licenses and permit applications, Council Memo 316-18, application for a drive-through permit for a Circle K car wash at 3021 Plainfield Road. It's recommended Circle K car wash be issued a drive-through permit.
So moved.
Second.
Been motion seconded to approve. Councilman Hugg.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under public hearings, Council Memo 317-18, a resolution approving the First Amendment to an annexation agreement to extend the expiration date an additional 20 years located at 240 Zurich Road. It's recommended the public hearing resolution be tabled to the July 2nd council meeting.
Motion to table.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to table Council Memo 317-18. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under ordinances and resolutions, Council Memo 319-18, an ordinance approving or a resolution denying a variation of use to allow the continuation of a 2-unit in R3 1 and 2 family use in an R2 single family zoning district located at 613 North William Street.
Move to deny.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve a resolution denying the variation of use to allow the continuation of the 2-unit. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. The variation of use was denied. Council Memo 320-18, ordinances regarding Keystone Business Center subdivision. This includes an ordinance approving the revised preliminary plat of Keystone Business Center subdivision, an ordinance approving the final plat of Keystone Business Center subdivision Unit 2, and an ordinance approving the recording plat of Keystone Business Center subdivision 2. It's recommended said ordinances be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 321-18 was removed from the agenda. Council Memo 322-18, an ordinance amending Chapter 20, Conditions Detrimental to Health, Public Nuisance, Division 2, Residential and Commercial Structure Public Nuisance Code, Regulations on Abandoned Gasoline Service Stations. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Motion carried.
My own cough drops won't help me.
Council Memo 323-18, an ordinance amending Chapter 19, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Parking, Division 1, Section 19-139, Prohibited Parking Areas enumerated, regulating the parking of vehicles on private property in the city of Joliet, Illinois. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
No.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye. I told her I vote for her. She can't talk.
Aye. Okay. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-1. Council Memo
Those are better.
324-18, an ordinance
Those are
amending
better.
Chapter
Right.
4 Liquor Code, creating Liquor and Tobacco Code, repealing business license sections dealing with tobacco licenses, placing tobacco licenses under the purview of the Liquor Commissioner, and creating Liquor and Tobacco Commissioner. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
No.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-1. Council Memo 325-18, an ordinance amending Chapter 18, Article 3, creating license requirement for video gaming distributors, repealing Chapter 13, Article 2, vending machines, an ordinance amending Chapter 18, Article 1, License and Business Regulations, Section 18-20. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 326-18, an ordinance amending the 2018 annual budget and authorizing payment of the first $500,000 payment to Will County for the Will County Courthouse project. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved. Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
First, I wanted to point out, welcome Board Member Brooks. We're probably going to approve it, but we don't have the cash on us. I'm not sure why you can't. Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under resolutions, Council Memo 328-18, a resolution adopting the Chicago Street Corridor Plan. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 329-18 is a resolution appropriating motor fuel tax funds in the amount of $297,439.25 for the Washington Street over Hickory Creek Bridge Improvement Project 2018 with deconstruction. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 330-18 is a resolution appropriating motor fuel tax funds in the amount of $39,739 for the Phase 3 engineering services for the Washington Street over Hickory Creek Bridge Improvement Project 2018 with Patrick Engineering, Inc. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 331-18, a resolution authorizing the acquisition of parcel 30-07-14-101-018 in the amount of $4,678. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 332-18, a resolution authorizing the acquisition of parcel 30-07-22-500-002 in the amount of $5,500. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 333-18, a resolution imposing a moratorium on the issuance of a weapon dealer license. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Quick question, and just to be clear, this moratorium is based only on until we put together a finalized ordinance, updating our ordinance to cover such a business.
Yes.
Okay. Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
I'm going to try to address this. A comment was made about me saying that I was against all gun shops and that I was a hypocrite because my husband's a retired police officer. And just to set the record straight, on this committee, since we had no regulation for gun shops, that's why the committee as a whole decided to put this moratorium on there until we could get some type of control on where the gun shops should go and some guidelines for them. So just so you know, yes, my husband is a retired police officer, and but we don't have a gun shop in our home. So just to set the record straight, I vote aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under award of contracts, We'll vote on Council Memo 337-18 first, and then the remainder will be one vote as usual under our award of contracts. So Council Memo 337-18 is authorization to approve a professional services agreement in the amount of $278,700 to Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley for the alternative water source study phase 1. It's recommended this item be tabled to the July 2nd, 2018 council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's in motion and seconded to table Council Memo 337-18 to the July 2nd council meeting. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 335-18, award a contract in the amount of $297,439.25 for the Washington Street over Hickory Creek Bridge Improvement Project 2018 with D Construction. Council Memo 336-18, award a professional services agreement for the Phase 3 engineering services in the amount of $39,739 for the Washington Street over Hickory Creek Bridge Improvement Project 2018 with Patrick Engineering. And Council Memo 338-18, authorization to approve public utilities, SCADA Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System Maintenance Service Contract 2018 in the amount of $30,000 to Wunderlich Malik. It's recommended Council Memos 335, 336, and 338-18 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is the city manager's report.
Mayor and council, I just wanted to make sure the public was notified that we unfortunately had to cancel an open house for the Hobart Road and Des Plaines Bridge project. It was originally going to be held, I think, later this month. Pardon?
The meeting was originally scheduled for the 27th of June, but it's going to be rescheduled to a later date, sometime later in July, early August.
Okay. And also, as indicated at the start of the meeting, the next council meeting will be on July 2nd at the Billy Linebacker Bicentennial Park. And then we had a very successful, I'm sure several of you may mention all the activity that took place on Friday and this past weekend. Did want to mention that because of several complaints or issues raised, we did have a few crews because of the amount of the events, and that just helped make sure that there was an extra effort to help clean up after some of these events. We'll be looking into that and just help make sure going forward that as we continue to have some well-attended events downtown, that we're trying to make sure that everything is left cleaned after the event. But we appreciate our public works employees who came out to assist because of the amount of activity this past weekend. Other than that, I have nothing else to report to the mayor and council.
New business not for final action or recommendation.
I have nothing.
Next is public comments. Is there anyone that would like to speak under public comments?
Hello, my name is Denise Williams, and I'm at 6613 Irma Harvey, Plainfield, and I'm here with two different hats. First, as the president of the American Gold Star Mothers for the state of Illinois, we are supporting an event coming up in Joliet to be held at Silver Cross Field. It is a softball tournament. It's the first ever softball tournament to be held at the Joliet Stadium. Softball's never been played there before. This is a charitable organization or charitable event that, as the Gold Star Mothers, our partnership is really centered on doing outreach and helping raise awareness for the event, as well as reaching out to other veteran service organizations to both sponsor as well as participate in the event as a resource for the veterans and families that will be in attendance for this event. with me is Eddie West and Derek Williams, who can answer more questions about this, and I'll pass these around for you to see. What we're asking for from the city of Joliet is support in just simply helping promote the event and advertise the event on the electronic billboards around the city as we draw a little bit closer. It's a really big deal for the city because, again, we're a large number of teams coming in from all over the state and from the Midwest as well, and a team from Maine that's coming and using the Joliet Slammer Stadium for the first time ever for softball. So while they explain, I'll pass this out.
Hi, I'm Eddie West. This is Derek Williams. I live at 3419 Cleary Ave in Joliet. Excuse me if I have trouble talking. I had my wisdom teeth out last week, and it's not really going well for me. So
It's going around.
I've been over there like moaning and groaning because I need an ibuprofen. So yeah, I reached out, I contacted the Joliet Slammers, who've been absolutely amazing with it. I reached out to Corey over there, and he's been, I mean, absolutely awesome. So Friday night, I haven't put it in the works yet, but I'm actually hoping to try to get the JPD, a team from them, and the JFD to kind of kick things off before a home run derby. We'd love to have it on Channel 6 if that's something that we can make happen. But honestly, any questions that you guys have for us, we'd be happy to answer them.
Questions? Are you guys playing?
We can't, unfortunately, we can't play and run it.
How many teams are there?
Right now we have like 12 or 13, but we're looking to get 20. Unfortunately, this year, there was only one weekend that was available at the Slammer Stadium, and it coincides with like major tournaments at Inwood Park, so it's a little hard, but as long as everything goes well, the Slammers and we're gonna sit back down this winter and pick a weekend where we're not, butting heads with other, stuff, and hopefully make this one of the biggest tournaments in the Midwest for some time to come, so.
And I think with Denise here and with Herb here, I think we should challenge them to an exhibition, us against the county board.
I tell you what, you guys do that, and maybe we'll get some Gold Star mothers to show you how it's done.
Yeah, I think the county board will need your help, so. David, we can take care of this.
Yes.
We can also get this on the city website. And if you can get full-size posters, we can hang around City Hall or at Slammer Stadium for the people coming to their games.
Perfect. That's amazing. Thank you guys very much.
And they're shy, so they're not going to say it, so I will, because I have no shame. They're also looking for sponsorships from area businesses and individuals.
That's why she's here.
Any questions?
Good luck.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Jason Weathersby?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, and Joliet residents. I come to you to introduce myself as the new GM of the Joliet Thunder football team. This is our first year here in Joliet, and the team has been in existence for 25 years, and in those 25 years, we made the playoffs for 20 of those years. Last year, we had to take off because our owner died of stomach cancer, but we're back. We chose Joliet as our home. We're playing in Memorial Stadium. We have our first home game on July 30th against the Rockton Rage. So if you see me running around the city of Joliet like a chicken with my head cut off, I'm trying to do everything in my power to promote this team, to get the fans out. The tickets are $10. For the regular tickets are $10, $5 if you're a school teacher or college professor, free for firefighters, policemen, and military. And we're looking to actually give you guys a good idea, so don't leave, because I want to get with you guys. We can do some things together. But I just want to introduce myself. My head coach couldn't make it. And if you guys could make it out to the game on the 30th, we would greatly appreciate it, because these young men work really, really hard during the week. And we want to show you guys how hard we work. Against the Rock and Rage on June 30th. Thank you.
Good luck.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erica Holmes, and I sit on a committee with Including You. It's a new organization that Julia Alexander, she is spearheading it. She's the president. So I'm going to read the letter because we have a festival coming up on July 28th from 5 to 11. Dear patron, Including You is proud to present a family affair, our first family fun festival to be held Saturday, July 28th, 2018 from 5 p.m. to 11 in the beautiful downtown Joliet with a focus of giving back and serving the greater Joliet area. Including You is, we just obtained our 501c3, but we're in partnership with Will Grundy Medical Center, and the proceeds are, part of the proceeds are going to them and Redeem Connections. Including You mission is to empower, inspire, and educate. These core values enhance the self-esteem of a spirited Joliet community. Including You purpose is to cooperate and collaborate in partnership with our great city of Joliet in promoting and enhancing a more diverse and inclusion community. Providing resources to restore, empower, educate, and unite the community by strengthening knowledge, creating positive self-esteem, providing educational opportunities, promoting family, ministries, and businesses. Your unwavering support will allow us to grow and expand. However, this event cannot happen without you. The 2018 community service recipients, again, are Redeem Connection Ministry and Will Grundy Medical Clinic. So we're asking for your support, and I sit on the advertisement committee. So I do all the social media advertisement for Including You. So you can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Also, we are still looking for some more sponsors, and I am the committee chair for the volunteers. So if you're looking to be a volunteer, I am the person to see. Our tickets are $5 pre-sale and $10 at the gate. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Ma'am? Erica, don't leave.
Okay.
I've already talked to Julia, so don't leave until the end of the meeting. I have a check for you.
Okay, thank you.
I haven't had a chance. I just
okay, I like checks.
So don't leave.
And I would tell, you want to write the checks out to, even though it's to Including You, but we're partnered with Will Grundy Medical Center. So it'll be wrote to them and then go into our account that way.
Oh, Julia's been doing her job.
Okay.
Well, Erica, if I could add, I know you and Julie and your whole committee have been working hard with Mary Jaworski and the Chamber of Commerce. I really give you a lot of credit. It's tough to get a new event up and going, but I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a traditional one that repeats itself. So great work.
Thank you. Any questions? Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, come on, Mayor. Will anybody talk now?
Denise can talk.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Herb Brooks Jr., Will County Board. My colleague Denise Winfrey, and we live right down the street, the county building. Yes. But the purpose of my coming for you tonight is to just say thank you. Mr. Hales and Mr. Jones oftentimes come to our capital improvement committee of our Will County Board and bring back to you as a city council what's been going on. So I'm sure you know a lot of things that are happening. We have many intergovernmental agreements, 37 cities and villages within Will County, but Joliet is our city capital and our county seat. And we have a partnership with you all that you passed a resolution on tonight that we're very happy with. And Larry, as long as you write now checks, they did tell me come tonight to get the check. They did tell me come and get it. But we want to thank you on behalf of the Will County Legislative Body and our County Executive Larry Walsh for our partnership on tonight. Thank you.
I just want to acknowledge that a few years back came to the city and asked for you to partner with the county and to go forward with us in terms of upgrading the downtown Joliet, building the courthouse and all of that. I just want to recognize that you, Bob, Mr. Mayor, have kept that partnership, and David, replacing Jim Hawk, have continued to do that and partner with us, and we look forward to a long term together.
Thank you.
It's in the mail.
Is there anyone else? Is there anyone else who would like to speak under public comments? Next is mayor and council comments.
Yeah, I just got two things. We worked the IHSA baseball championships, and Krista ran it, and she did a great job. Everybody who came out to the park loved the park. They had nothing but good things to say. There were several council people there, several city employees, and the whole thing went off without a hitch. It was really good. And another thing, I probably wouldn't have a job if I didn't mention this. This weekend is the Taste of Joliet. Everybody, please come out. It's probably the biggest party of the year, and it's a great time all 3 days. So hopefully we'll see you out there. Okay.
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you, Krista. Great job on the ISHA. But for all of my blues fans, and I know it's plenty blues fans that are out here. Well, the Migraine Brewery will be starting a Blues, Brews, and Chews. The next 2 weeks, it'll be on Tuesday night, starting at 7 o'clock to 10 p.m. And then it will shift over to Wednesday nights. So June 26th and July 3rd, it'll be on a Tuesday night. But please come out and support Migraine Brewery right downtown. They make the best Reuben sandwiches you have ever had in your life. And a couple of good beers too. So please come out, let's join that, and let's make this a success for Migraine Brewery. Thank you, guys.
I'm not going to steal the mayor's thunder completely because he'll tell you all about several events we've had downtown. All I'm going to say is there were, as David pointed out, a couple of spotty complaints about, the garbage wasn't picked up from one area. Right? That's a good problem to have. When you have 10 or 15,000 people downtown, when's the last time somebody could sit up here and say that? 10 or 15,000. With that, I'd also want to say, although we appreciate the applause you gave us from the neighborhood associations, we're just doing what we swore to do, and that's to listen to you folks. I want to thank you for coming out. It was an exciting night. We had some good new organizations and new activities that were announced in the open comments, and I was very impressed with the number of neighborhood folks that came out and the passion they came out with. It is true, we do care about our city, don't we? Thank you.
Just wanted to thank Krista also. I know there's a number of city employees and council people that did work at the high school tournament, but I think as everybody remembered, we had quite a bit of rain. Krista was there very early in the morning, very late at night, making sure everything got done, and on behalf of the city, thank you, Krista.
I'll pass.
Okay, number of events, and I just want to reiterate, thank you, Krista, and all the city staff who volunteered their time for the baseball tournament. Another great success. I heard great feedback again from the IHSA, so it's a real credit to Joliet, what we do every year. Thank you, Krista. June 6th, the Gateway Center grand opening. The train station finally had their grand opening. I think the entire city council was there. Senator Pat McGuire came and spoke. Governor Rauner came and spoke and announced funding for the bus station to move forward, so that was a great day. Train station looks beautiful. If you haven't seen it, come down and take a look at it. June 8th, New Orleans North happened downtown. I heard the crowd was estimated about 2,000 people more than it was the year before. I think the estimate's around 8,000 people for that event on June 8th. We had another event downtown on June 9th, Pause on Route 66. Councilman McCormick, I know you were the MC for the event with the Channel 6 cameras, but a great turnout. Thank you to all the people who volunteered. I know there have been a number of dogs adopted. I don't have the final number yet, but we'll get that to you. It was a great event, and thanks everyone for supporting that. June 9th, we also had the Spanish Center opening day for the Little League at Desmond Field. Councilwoman Gavin, you were there. I'd like to thank Richard Rodriguez and his group for all the hard work they did. Last week and last Friday, there was some concern about whether Joliet could handle the events from last Friday night. I was downtown. Everyone did a terrific job. Our police department did an outstanding job with traffic control. We had a sold-out concert at the Rialto, a sold-out concert at the Forge. We had a baseball game at Slammer Stadium with Princess Night. I don't know what the attendance was, it was significant. And then the Rock the Block, which started in the City Center Square on Friday night. So we probably had about 10,000 people down there all at once on Friday. It was a great event, great night, went very well. And then, of course, Rock the Block went all weekend. I want to thank the Forge for, again, stepping out, a new event downtown. We have, including you, there's new events coming every year. I think the idea would be that we're going to get to the point that in the summer months, you're going to have something going on the weekends every night downtown Joliet. We're working towards that. It seems like every event we put on is a success, and they're growing every year. They're getting bigger and bigger. So I think it's a great sign for our city. It's certainly good for the downtown businesses. On Friday night, I kind of was with the police doing some of the traffic control. I don't know how many people at random had their windows down and were thanking me or saying how good the city looked, how good downtown looked. They couldn't believe all the people and the atmosphere downtown. So compliments to city council and city staff. We're working hard. We are pushing the ball forward. We're going to continue to do so. And that's all I have.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Motion seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Really?
Yeah.
You think you